With Terry Horan as he gets ready for the 99th season of Cobber football. How was training camp? I mean, usually it's a grind, but was it any different this year?
You know, it's still a grind. I said this yesterday to DAY. If some coach has figured out that second week of fall camp where you're in those dog days and kind of beating on each other, and that's where the heavy legs start happening. If somebody's figured out how to practice that week, they need to write a book and they make millions, because I'm sure every coach across the country goes through it. I thought we probably we hit more than we normally have, and we run quite a bit, obviously, within our schemes. And our kids were just so heavy-legged that second week, and you're not preparing for anybody quite yet, but now that switches gears. Obviously, we've had a really good week of practice. The adrenaline's there. It's time to play somebody. I don't know if you're ever ready for that first game, but it's time to play somebody with a different color jersey.
Just looking back at training camp, any particular group that stood out or any particular player that stood out?
You know, offensively, I really like the veteran line that we have. You know, obviously anchored by Josh Berg on the left side with Asprey next to him and Ethan File. Obviously that solidifies things. But even our guys on the right side, and Andy McDonald and Tyler Gebhardt, there's two seniors waiting for their opportunity to start. Those guys have done some great things. I like our backfield with Herzog and Johnson and Montoni. Those guys, they really show great work ethic during our practices, and our receivers really come along nicely. You know, we don't have Zylstra, we don't have Bounty, we don't have that big name, but we got a bunch of really hard-working receivers that will do good things for us. Defensively, it's been really good to see our D line. They're just that much more experienced this year and with Coach Isendorf leading the charges there. You know, those guys have another year under their belt with him too. They know what he's expecting, and it's good to see, you know, Hank Van Loo, he's finally getting his first shot at a starter, but our young linebacking core are really starting to understand things and grasp the concepts, and along with our secondary. It's been a good fall camp, Jim. I think across the board, special teams wise, we've done some different things with some special team circuits just to try to evaluate our players to see who we can put in certain positions. So I thought as a staff we've done that better too in these last 3 weeks. So, but all in all, it's camp, and it's a grind, and it isn't easy, and our kids have found a way to get through it, and now they're excited for a game.
You look forward to the opener, Jamestown. They've had a game,
right,
but the biggest difference with Jamestown this year is they've got a brand new coach.
They do.
What is the difference between, have you seen, from last year's team to this year's team with the new coach?
Well, Josh Cattell, he's not new to Jamestown's program. Here's a guy who's an All-American quarterback, played with Coach Mistro, best man at Coach Mistro's wedding. Great guy, very good football coach. He's brought in a really good young staff of guys that had some time with NDSU. There's a huge NDSU flavor to what they do offensively, defensively. There's excitement in their program. You know, what we saw in Game 1 against Valley City, they're well organized. It looks like that first-year coach excitement is carried into his team. They want to perform. They want to do well. He's going to do a great job there. We've got our hands full. I start looking at, they had 25 spring practices versus our 7. They had 25 practices prior to their first game, and now they've had a game under their belt, plus they're practicing to get ready for us. We're into that 40 practices over us plus a game, and that puts us behind the 8 ball, and that, as a coach, that's worrisome.
What do you think is going to be one of the keys to the game on Saturday? And you can't say turnovers.
Well, I'd say who's going to win the battle up front. I mean, these guys want to run the football too, and I think O-line and D-line really who's going to win the battle. Because we're two teams that like to run the football, and who can shut the run down, and who can establish themselves and get the passing attack going in there too, and who can perform special team wise. Early in the year, I always say special teams plays a huge role. It does in every game, especially early in the year. It can make or break a game.
All right, finally, it's the 99th year of Cobber football. This is your 16th year as the head coach. You played here for 4. You were assistant coach. You have over 20 years experience with the football program. What does the tradition of Cobber football mean to you?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, you start looking at Jake Christensen, 28 seasons, stadiums named after him for all the successes that his teams and he produced. Then it went on to his former player, Jim Christopherson, who took the helm for 32 years, won several conference championships, couple national titles, carried on that tradition. Now I played for Jim and now coaching. So there's 3 football coaches in over 70 years. That's amazing in today's world. It really is. And to have guys that have actually played in the program, now coaching in the program, it means a lot to me because the maroon and gold run really deep. And I want to make sure that our players understand the privilege they have to put on the uniform each and every day and to go out and represent Concordia in everything that they do. And it's all about being excellent in everything that we do. And we talk about tradition all the time. Now you look at, we're not always winning championships, okay, but we're darn close and we're competitive every year, and that's our goal each and every year, and that's not blowing smoke. We believe that, you know, when a class leaves, it's the next man up, and we want to continue to keep recruiting that way and continue to strive for being the best in the country.
Good luck this weekend.
Hey, thanks a lot.